My name is Dawn Chubai, and welcome to my home, to my dining room. And today we have an amazing show where we are going to be talking to some of your favorite guests that we have here at TSC. Today we have some celebrity guests, and we're going to learn a little bit more how they are coping during isolation. So thank you for staying home with us. Like if we got stuck at home and staying home, we couldn't ask for better people to be able to connect with. We see Vanessa Williams. Hi, Vanessa.
Hey, Don.
Oh,
How are
so
you?
thrilled to have Vanessa. Oh, we're fabulous. And I noticed we've got Ron in our little Brady Bunch boxes. Ron White is here. Ron, we're going to learn a little bit more about how you two are connected today, aren't we?
We are. I feel like I'm in Hollywood Squares, so that's kind of cool.
And I think what's going to be great is we're actually going to get a little sneak peek of an upcoming today's showstopper that Ron has. We're going to learn also how you and Vanessa actually met for the first time and now how a long friendship has been born. So, Ron, you go ahead and take a little bit of a break, and we're going to have a little chit chat with Vanessa Williams as our shoppers are staying home with us. And Vanessa had to wear a little of your clothing. Of course, we're going to talk clothing line in a bit, but can you give us a bit of perspective of where you are right now?
Well, I am in my home, which is about an hour north of New York City in Westchester County. I have my two Great Danes behaving behind me, luckily. So if a FedEx or UPS guy comes in, you're going to hear them for sure. And I am here because I should be in London on stage doing City of Angels in West End, and I had to come home when the West End closed down March 20th. And so I'm here waiting to find out when we return to the theater.
Yeah, we're all waiting for the world to start. I've got a few concert tickets sitting in a drawer waiting for when the shows are going to start up again. But since you brought it up, I know that you actually did get started through some of your previews for City of Angels. So we've got some pictures, and maybe you can talk us just a little bit through the production and maybe what it's been like to sort of stop and then have to pause, and what maybe you have to do to kind of stay on top of your game during this period of unknown when you're getting back.
Well, it was heartbreaking and shocking because I've never stopped production in the middle of a run. And I arrived in London first week in January. We rehearsed for all of January, all of February, and we started previews March 5th, and we were in such great shape. We've got a terrific, spectacular director, Josie Rourke, who had done this production of City of Angels about 6 years ago at the Dunmar, which is kind of like um, the public theater that we have in New York. And rave reviews sold out in the first 10 minutes. And our producers, NYMAX, saw it and said, we want to bring this to a theatrical commercial house for a longer run. So I was so happy to get the call from Josie. This is a show, a musical that has not been done on Broadway since 1990 and hasn't really been done uh, in a full theatrical production in the West End for the same amount of time. So the music is fantastic. It's really complicated because it's half of it is a black and white movie like film noir, and then half of it is a color reality, but it's still period. So you've got fantastic costumes, lots of attitude. I play a femme fatale, so there's murder and poisoning and all kinds of backstories. But it's fantastic. So it broke my heart that we couldn't actually have an opening night, but the people that got a chance to see us the first 2 weeks loved it. So I can't wait to have everybody who missed it get a chance to see it again.
Oh, and I can't wait as well to sort of see what's going on in your life as things get out of isolation, as we're starting to edge just a little bit, more every day. But I'm looking at you in your music room, and you're talking about, of course, the show that you were supposed to be in at this point, but now the reality is you're working from home. So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with you and how you're dealing kind of with that work from home situation?
Well, actually, it hasn't been that bad for me. I've got a piano to my right. I've got a microphone, a mixer, amps. I was taught how to use GarageBand on my desktop so I can literally record from my home by myself. So I feel lucky that I've learned how to do that and transfer files and all that great stuff. And my mom lives next door. So it's pretty lucky. I visit her every day. When the dogs are ready for their walk, we go over there, knock on the door, and she says, "Hello, boys and girls," and brings them in and gives them a slice of cheese each. That's their treat. And then I pick up the crossword puzzle that she saves for me every day, and we have a little chit chat. And then I walk across the yard back to my house. And all my kids are, I've got four kids, two are in New York and two are in California. So thank God for FaceTime, because we do that all the time and stay connected. And for Mother's Day, me and my mom were together, but the kids all had their own individual FaceTimes. Two of my kids' birthdays were all within this period. One was April 14th. The other one was just in May 1st. So you have to adjust, but I thank God that health is great with my family, and it's these times where you have to play the cards that you're dealt and realize we're all in this together, and utilize, I mean, the time that you do have. I've been cleaning and doing touch up paint and doing scratches on my wood, and then cleaning out a closet and going through my kids' drawers and stuff. They hadn't liked that, but it had to be done. But that's what you do when you have all the time to sort.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are probably in that same situation where they're going through closets and getting rid of stuff. And you and I were actually talking a little bit earlier this week, and talking about what it's like to go through some of your kids' years and years and years of stuff, and having to get permission on what you could get rid of. Like, you're not getting rid of any big comic book collections, record collections, are you?
No, but it's funny. My kids are 32, 30, 27, and 20. And my 30-year-old, no matter, she's 30 years old, and you can't touch a stuffed animal, a journal, a poster. You can't give away any kind of furniture, even though she hasn't seen it in years. She needs to have the last say. She's probably the most intense in terms of her stuff. My oldest could care less, except if it's vintage clothing, which my kids have snuck into my clothes and my closet and stolen some vintage good pieces. But it's funny how they love their stuff, no matter how old they get.
Well, listen, I'm sure you went through that probably a bit with your mom as well at some point, when she was going, okay, what can I kind of make room for? And actually, speaking about your mom, you just mentioned that you were able to connect with her pretty much daily, and Mother's Day, and really you work very closely with your mom. We're going to talk about your clothing line in a second, but you actually co-authored a book with her back in 2012. So it was a bit of a memoir for both of you, I guess, in that case.
The book that we did together was called "You Have No Idea," and it came about because I had gotten book offers to write my autobiography, and I kept saying, "Oh, where do I start? Where do I begin?" And I would call my mom, like, "Do you remember this?" And she would remember it completely differently. And then I realized that both of us had really different views on similar events in our lives that we experienced together. So the idea was to do a book, which is kind of a collective memoir. And we talk about childhood, and of course, me becoming famous at 20 years old as Miss America, and going through a tough time and trying to get my feet on the ground in terms of my careers, and also love and loss and death and divorce, and having children and all the wonderful things that happen in life. So it was heart wrenching because it took about a year for us to write it together, but completely worth it.
And then now you've just actually, now has it actually released, your new book, Bubble Kisses? Did that just come out this spring?
It's going to come out the end of June, but I've got a couple of advance copies that I've been siphoning out to people that I know have kids. And the great thing about it is, not only is it my first children's book, but it also has a CD that comes with it. And for all those parents that are so tired of Baby Shark, do 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 do, this song is one that I've had for, geez, over 25 years. And it was one that was given to me when I was going to do a children's album, and I never got around to the children's album. Then I said, let me write a book, and never got around to that. And yeah.
I got a goldfish and her name is Sal.
Oh,
She's not just a pet.
it's so adorable.
She's my pal. We
And you
play
sound
video games
fabulous.
together,
Oh,
though they're all
it's
pretend.
Thank
wonderful
you.
to be able, also such representation in a children's book as well, such diversity. It's refreshing, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's good to have images that you can reach your children. They can see themselves. But it's what I love. It's got that 1940s kind of Andrews Sisters bebop sound, and even kids that don't know what they're saying, bubble kisses, and they can like say bubble kisses. And I my dogs and and I love getting videos of people with their kids singing bubble kisses.
Well, so here's the thing. We just got to hear you sing, and we saw or heard, I guess, your dog sing as well. But when it came to RuPaul's Drag Race, it was lip sync for your life.
That was fantastic, and you know, when I told my kids I was going to do it, they're like, "Mom, you have to win." So I knew that I had to bring my A game. But the most fun for me was doing Dolly Parton. I mean, donning that iconic wig and putting on the prosthetic boobs and the hip pads. It was hilarious, and the queens treated me wonderfully. I've actually been a judge twice, but it's much harder being on the other side. So I'm glad that is over and done with.
Well, you looked fabulous in drag, might I say. But actually, let's talk
Thank you.
just now about your clothing line because, in addition to being a Broadway actress, of course, you're getting ready to debut again in London.
Yes.
Designer, author, dancer, singer. But the designer part is how we were able to connect with you because, of course, at TSC, we have your line. Many people are also seeing a little code come up here and there, which means they can get directed right to your page at our TSC site. But can you give us an idea of some of the new spring collection, what we can expect?
Well, I'm wearing this amazing pattern right now. All my prints are exclusive to me, so you won't see them anywhere else. But it actually seems like it's a perfect time to go to be bold and refresh. And most of the clothing that I have are all bright, wonderful colors that make you feel good. They're feel good colors. So you've got patterns, which I love, and you know that I do not mind walking into a room and being noticed. And that's kind of the through line of my particular line is why not walk and be noticed? Feel comfortable, feel sophisticated, feel a bit relaxed, travel wonderfully with them, but also just feel like you want to enter the room and feel wonderful. So it's a great time. I think we've all been in the house in our sweats for a long time. And now with all these Zoom meetings and Zoom cocktail parties, spice it up with some color and feel alive. And I think I've got a great opportunity to show color, but also show really classic silhouettes that will last in your collections year after year.
Oh, absolutely. And we just saw a picture of you wearing that beautiful yellow, almost like an animal print dress. And then I wore it, I guess,
Mhm.
must be about 6 weeks ago. And can I tell you, Vanessa, that I never got more compliments on a show than when I wore this dress. And it felt so great. And I felt so happy and I felt so fierce. And I have to think that that's part of how you want us to feel in your designs.
Oh, thank you. And I'm glad you did. Yeah, it's that particular dress we have in three prints and they're prints. So you're gonna go for something that will make you be noticed, but it's got shoulder pads to give you the nice clean shoulder. It's got a beautiful fabric that kind of flows off your skims your body, and then you've got this umpire waist, which gives you the smallest part right under your like higher rib cage. Comes in there. There's a side zip. There's elastic in the back, so there's no binding, and it's one of those easy breezy, instantaneously uh, smashing dresses that you walk into the room and you get noticed. So I'm so happy you loved yours.
Yeah, well, people can shop your line at TSC. And of course, we got Ron White now standing by. Speaking of getting noticed, Vanessa, maybe you can share with us how you came to be noticed, I guess, maybe by Ron and vice versa. How did it all start with you two?
Well, I was in Toronto to promote a show that I did called Daytime Divas. So we were at kind of the upfronts there. And there was an after party at the Soho House and having a cocktail, and our eyes met. Ron, you want to take it from there?
Well, so basically, you have to understand what the upfronts are is when a network introduces all the new shows that are coming out for the next season. So I was lucky enough to be invited. I was in the audience with thousands of people. Vanessa's on stage, and there's all these different shows and all these different stars, but she just fucking owns it and just like walks out there, and I'm like just dying. There's an after party, and I saw someone talking to her that I knew, and I also noticed, being a shoe guy, that she had changed shoes. I was like, I'm thinking there is a bit of a conversation we should probably have and talk about footwear and find out why she changed to a different heel, lower heel. So lo and behold, a friend of mine introduced us. I found out that her other shoes were not comfortable, and I was like, "Hello, welcome to Canada, welcome to Ron White," and I think I have an answer for you. And then fast forward, hello, likefantastic.com. That's actually a picture from the night we met. So we met at Soho House. We met at that after party, and really just became friends from that. And truly, Vanessa became my muse because she's a strong, powerful, sophisticated woman. She's proudly in her 50s. She says, "I want to look fabulous. I want to feel fabulous," and that really is, what my woman, what my leading customers also say to me on a regular basis. So I think to myself, when I design a collection, would Vanessa like this? Would this be good for her to walk her dog? Would this be good for travel? Would this be for weekend? Would this be for dress up time? And that's how I think about the collection.
How does it feel to be his
And I
muse,
did wear,
Vanessa? I'm sure. Oh, you did? Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I love it. And I did wear Ron's booty when I did RuPaul's Drag Race, when I walked into the workroom and I had my kind of utility jumpsuit on. He's got these beautiful metallic gray woven booties with a nice, like a nice sacked heel. And it was perfect because it gave me height. It was comfortable. I could actually last the whole day in them. And you see, when they introduced me, they point right to my shoes behind the door opening, and I immediately texted Ron immediately, if they you got to tune in.
Okay,
I love it when
so for those who missed it,
sorry.
I actually posted those clips on my Instagram page. So if you go to Ron White Shoes or at Ron White Shoes, you can see the clips. I don't even know if I'm legally allowed to, but I'm just saying I did. So you can see the clips of Vanessa. You can see some of the clips from RuPaul's Drag Race and how she just killed it, because she killed it. She slayed, darling. She slayed.
Thank you.
Listening to you both and just seeing the genuine reaction that you have with each other, you can really see that this is a genuine friendship. And I would imagine in both of your lives, it can be difficult to find those true friendships. And it's so nice that something was born out of, just a love for what you do, Ron, and then for you, Vanessa, a need to be comfortable as a busy woman who's really, as much as you are different than what our shoppers may think they are, you are a mom, you are a working woman, you are someone who's on the go and doing lots of things. You're picking up your dog after your dog, just like everybody else. And so it's nice to see that you have this authentic, relationship.
Well, Ron was really the first one who brought me to the shopping channel. I was at another network, and he said, "I've got some people that I need you to meet," and you were really the one who kind of mentored me to where I came to you. So thank you, Ron.
And Ron, just
Pretty
really
easy,
quickly
okay?
before we let
Pretty easy to be a fan. Pretty easy to love and respect and be wowed by you. Seriously.
well, before we let Vanessa take a bit of a breather, just really briefly too, you do continue to do charity work together. There's a huge shoe drive that Ron, for the last 24 years, the largest shoe drive. You've actually brought Vanessa into that fold.
Yeah, so it's literally been 24 years where I've asked local celebrities. It started actually with Deanie Petty and then even Jeannie Becker, where I said, "Would you donate some shoes to the shoe drive that I do?" And we use the sort of the tagline or the call line, "Follow in the footsteps of your favorite celebrity and donate your shoes to the homeless." And we run that every winter, and the shoes get sorted and cleaned and distributed to women's shelters and homeless shelters. It's grown over the years, and eventually Matt Damon got involved, and our first ladies over the last couple of years have gotten involved, and Celine Dion has gotten involved. And so when I became friends with Vanessa, of course, I said, "Would you please also get involved and join our shoe drive?" And of course, she did. She came down, and we did a kickoff together. There's actually a shot of Mrs. Harper, our past first lady, and Barbara Hackett, who's married to Mayor Tory, so another first lady, and they're also involved with our shoe drive. So we have a wide cross section, but truly, if I had to pick a favorite, let's just say.
Thank you.
Oh, well, Vanessa, you go ahead and we're going to chat with Ron for a couple of seconds, but you're going to come back toward the end. So I encourage our shoppers to stick around. And of course, you can find Vanessa's line at tsc.ca. But Ron, we were just hearing how Vanessa's been handling isolation. We're obviously broadcasting from your salon. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're handling this time right now personally?
Yes. So this room, by the way, was the living room in the house that Brad and my husband moved into. It's about a 100-year-old home. So that's when those homes have very small rooms. And so I called it, not we, I called it the salon or the sitting room. So there's no TV, and it's designed for talking. So I thought, okay, if we're going to have a chit chat, this is the perfect place to have a chit chat. So that's why I'm in this room. But as far as time at home, I have received a number of messages and calls and emails from people saying, "What are you doing? How are you keeping busy?" etc. And quite frankly, we've been busier than ever. So I do have a home office. Been working probably more hours than ever, and that's because as a designer and in fashion, you're always working 6, 8, 10 months in advance. So although things are shut down right now, I'm actually working on the autumn winter collection of how it's going to get packaged and delivered and marketed, and I'm designing the spring summer collection for spring 2021. So I'm very busy with that, and that's with the sort of the design and the brand side of my world. And we do have sort of two different sides, right? So as a designer or as a brand, you design and produce a collection and you import it, in my case from Italy, and then you distribute it to different stores. So I have about 100 different stores, mostly in the US, that carry my collection. In Canada, my main partner, of course, is CSC. We also have another company or another side of the business, and that's the retail side. So we have a small chain of stores of our own in the Greater Toronto area. And that, believe it or not, is the harder hit side of what we've been experiencing with COVID-19. So stores, as of course we all know, have had to close, but that's the more devastating part. That's where we had to lay off literally everybody who works for us. We literally had to shut down. Sales and revenue became zero, and you start to panic, and there's a lot of panic about how do you pay the rent, how do you keep the lights on, how do you reopen, and it's not the wholesale side, it's not the brand and the collection side, it's actually the retail store side. So when you're seeing in the news a lot of talk, I mean, there's been some horrible, scary stats that 70% of brick and mortar stores, not websites, but brick and mortar stores and restaurants will not open. The reason for that is because they have all this crazy overhead of rent, is the big one, that hasn't gone away in most cases. And it's making it almost impossible to reopen for a lot of these people.
Well, we're so thrilled to be able to still shop your collection TSC, and we do have a little QR code that we'll put up that will direct people right to the page. And it is wonderful to be able to support you as a Canadian entrepreneur, but really so well known throughout all of North America with a huge celebrity following. We'll share some of those details in a second. Let's quickly show a picture of an important family member that you lost that you wanted to recognize, and then we'll invite Brad maybe to get a little time on camera. Of course, there's Brad right now. I had a chance to meet him in London just by surprise. We all managed to see each other. You guys have been together, what, close to 20 years? You've been married, what, for 6.5 years now?
Yeah, 7th anniversary coming up soon. And I know we're going to call on Brad in a minute. I know you wanted me to share, and we talked sort of what I've been up to and sort of what's been happening. And there's actually a shot from our wedding, but we'll tell you
Brad,
about that in a second.
Brad, go ahead.
Well, just, we've been reminiscing. So there's a fun shot with some friends of ours. That's actually the Mulrooneys that were at our wedding with us. What Brad and I did is and there's our MCs. So that was Mayor Tory and his wife Barbara Hackett, who are great friends. And we had a surprise performance by the tenors, which was really exciting too. So we had the big gay wedding in town about close to 7 years ago, and it was fun, and it was all about laughter, and it was full of friends and special moments, as like some of those that you just saw. You were asking me earlier, and there was something that came about during lockdown, during COVID-19 pandemic, and that was called National Pets Day. And last fall, I lost our dog. She passed away after 18 years. My dog's name is Kitty, spelt with an IE. She hates things spelt with a Y. And it was so dramatic for me, as someone who will never have children. For 18 years, she was basically my child. For those of you who don't have pets, when you love and care for something for that long, it really becomes part of your life. And so she had passed away, and I literally did not even want to talk about it. I didn't post about it on Facebook or anything. It was just too dramatic. And a couple weeks ago, actually, in the middle of April, there was something called National Pets Day. And I didn't even know about National Pets Day. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to post. I'm ready. It's been 6 months. I'm going to talk about Kitty. I'm going to tell everyone how much I love her and miss her, and how sad it is that she's not here with me now during lockdown, because she would have loved this, right? All this home time. And then I was so busy working and worrying about my team and worrying about the stores, worrying about the collection, I missed National Pets Day. So I'm taking this moment to say to everyone, that's my pet, Kitty. She lives on in my memory. I love her. And for those of you who have pets, happy National Pets.
Amazing. Well, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to say hello to Brad, because now we're out of time. Ron, you better hold up that today's showstopper. We don't have time to really talk about it too much, but we promised we'd show everybody what's coming in 1 week. Vanessa, what do you think? What do you think of this shoe here?
Ooh, it looks great for summer.
Sandal. And it's butter soft. It has a crazy arch of parts. And there's a blush. And there is a fabulous taupe. And it's not even on the website yet. This is a true sneak peek. It's about $200 off. And it is a nationwide exclusive. So it's coming soon. It's all woven in the front and butter soft glove leather. So anyway, that's coming in about a week.
Awesome. Brad, hey, can we get Brad to go next to you? Vanessa's going to stay on the line as well, but let's let everyone meet Brad, who's been working lighting and everything. And how much time do we have, Liana?
He's my producer, my director. He's lighting, he's producing, he's directing, he's everything.
Okay, so here's the thing. Vanessa, while you're there, you can hear this as well. Brad, I want to get one little bit of dirt on Ron right now. And Vanessa might be hearing this for the first time too.
Do tell.
Well, I think the one piece of dirt that no one would know about Ron is that he washes his feet every night before he goes to bed, and I find it very fun.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about that, Vanessa? You guys, how do you feel about this bit about Ron?
It's a shoe thing, okay? When you're in the shoe business.
Exactly.
Well,
doesn't surprise me.
I have a background in biomechanics, and I can tell you from my background in biomechanics, what I learned is there's actually more sweat glands in your feet than any other part of your body. So knowing that, I think to myself, before I go to bed, I'm going to clean my feet, wash my feet. My dad does it too, by the way. I don't know where he got it from, but anyway, maybe it runs in the family. There you go. There's my inside scoop.
Amazing. And of course, we've got literally 30 seconds left, but Vanessa, of course, is just about to release her children's book. Let's get a quick look at Ron as a little young tyke. Let's see how cute he was. How old are you here, Ron?
Oh my God, that's my COVID story. My cousin Benji from Winnipeg. I'm wearing a Winnipeg Blue Bombers sweatshirt. She was cleaning out her room and she found that picture from 1977. I'm 8 years old, and she remembers that she hired me to clean her bedroom because I wanted money to buy comic books. So she said, "Come clean my room," and that's when she took the picture. Anyway, love you, Benji.
Awesome.
Love it.
All right. Well, thank you, Benji. Thank you, Vanessa Williams, for being with us from your music room in New York. Ron White in a salon. Please, both of you stay safe, and thank you so much for staying home with us.
Thank you
for having us.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Ron. And we'll look forward to your today's showstopper in 1 week's time. You saw it here first, and you can shop both Vanessa's line and Ron's line at tsc.ca. We thank you for joining us here. Shop with us, tsc.ca, and thanks for staying home with us.